Welcome back to the North Bank Monthly, a name that we did agree on the last episode. I am here with the amazing Verge 59, Yeambele.
What an introduction. What an introduction. I love that.
I was going to go a bit more over the top. I was going to go like the elusive, the exclusive, the...
Where's my drum roll and my big entrance music? I mean...
Oh, mate, I'll get one. Hang on. Have I got one here?
No, that's more like a joke one, isn't it?
Okay, all right. No,
next time. It's for next time.
Okay, I'll get one. I'll get one ready. How are you, mate? I mean, we've just done a preview, to be fair, of the Champions League game. But over the month, in terms of the football, how have you been feeling?
Oh, it's beautiful, mate. It's not just us winning; it's hate watch as well, because coinciding with our rise has been Liverpool's spectacular fall, which has been amazing. Then you've got obviously Man City losing occasionally, which has helped us. Then you've got Man United, who have literally given me one of the best moments, which is obviously they've lured their fans in by winning 3 games in a row. I don't know if you've seen it, the hair, with the hair, the guy with the hair, if they win 5 games in a row, he'll gut his hair, which he hasn't done for a year and a half almost. And then they get to 3 games, he's like, my God, I could actually get a haircut. And then they draw, and it's back to 0 again. It's been a beautiful month of enjoying not only us winning, but other people's downfall. Look, I'm fully expectant, and I've been an Arsenal fan long enough to know that these good times are temporary.
Yeah,
so enjoy it while you can, and it's only November, but we're looking at October. But obviously, it's the start of the season, so there's nothing given at the moment.
Yeah, it's 100% right there, mate. Because it is about the journey, not just the destination. And I think as football fans, we become obsessed with the destination. Of it's all about winning trophies. It's all about winning trophies. And don't get me wrong, the trophies and the moments at Wembley and the bus tours and, all that stuff. It is amazing. But it's the feeling along the way. And I think I was saying on the Fockles podcast, this is the first time I have felt like this in 2 decades. It genuinely is the first time that I felt like, yeah, I think we could win this. We've had recent seasons where I've looked at opposing squads and managers and gone, but they've got Pep and they've got Klopp and so they've got that heritage. They've got, they've got that knowledge of winning the trophies. And I looked across the squads and I would go, well, City have got a Haaland and they've got a Rodri and they've got a De Bruyne and they've got a Silva and Diaz, and you go through all the squad, and you do the same with Liverpool with the Trent and Van Dijk and Salah and all these. It was always feeling like, we're just not quite there. And now I start looking and going, you know what? I'd probably take Raya up there with Donnarumma and Alisson like that. That's flip a coin on that one. Timber. I'd take Timber over any one of them. I'd take a whole back line right now over anyone. And that includes Van Dijk right now, to be honest, in terms of form. I think we said it, previously, I think Gabriel is the best on form, the best centre-back in world football. Then you got Declan Rice on fire. Zubimendi, probably, I said it before, for me, he's going to be signing of the season, and he has changed the way we are playing. Gyökeres has changed the way that we're playing as well. And we'll probably get onto that, although it's really November news by a couple of days. But, there's been so many positives, and looking through the teams, actually, we're up there. We're big boys now. That's who we are.
We're in the conversation. We're absolutely in the conversation. Our start to the Premier League has been great. Bar the City and the Liverpool results, we've been untouchable in most games. But I think you and I are of the ilk, and we understand this. We're not naive enough to think that that's it. The Premier League is done dusted. The media have been hyping it up. It's Arsenal's title to win. And look, football, there's so many things that can happen. We've got a very good chance of being in the mix for the Premier League title race. But you can see right now, and we will talk about it, but injuries can play a part, and that's unfortunately, we do seem to get injuries quite often, which is why we have such a big squad. But we've definitely taken a step up in terms of as a squad. We've got more depth now. We've got more quality. We've got a steeliness in our defense, which has helped us in a lot of games. I think we're definitely in the discussions, but nothing is won in November. We're only in November. It's April time. If we're there at the start of April with 10 games to go, then yes, you can definitely say we're going to be in the title race. But right now, enjoy it. As I said, enjoy what we're doing. We're a very good team, but there's a lot of football to be played right now.
No, 100%. And do you know what? Made me think of the Gary Neville comments about, it's Arsenal's to lose now. And I thought, I said it to Reece Wackles, that I thought Wrighty was going to up and leave at that comment. But it's like the backtracking of him. He then, like, a day later was like, oh, no, I didn't quite mean that. I actually meant something slightly different. And I'm finding that more and more that, I think the one beauty, social media, there's a lot of problems with social media and, the change in society, but I won't start getting on that too much and being philosophical. But one of the good things is that it does hold certain entities and certain people to account. So, it's all good and well, other teams scoring set pieces and, doing well from corners. But Arsenal, well, you can't be doing that. It's not sustainable. And it's fine for other teams to do long throws if you're a Stoke and stuff. And, we've been labelled with this defensive term. And, it's been quite nice just for certain people and certain establishments to be reminded you're being a little bit contradictory, you're being a little bit hypocritical. And that's been lovely to watch as well as an Arsenal fan. And you know what? I don't know about you. This whole thing about set pieces, it doesn't actually annoy me too much because quite a lot of the time, all I want now, I want us to score more set pieces. It's kind of just added fuel to the fire for me of right, if we don't get a goal from a corner, I'm actually going to be upset now. I want one in every single game from now on, Yem. Maybe not in the Champions League, I'm not bothered. But in the Premiership, I want to win every single game 1-0, and I want every single one from a corner. That's all I want now. That's it. And just take the league that way and just to wind more people up. I don't know about you. I don't know if you're as petty as me, though.
I just want to win the Premier League, to be honest. But I see your point. Look, the fact is that for years we were bantered off about you can't do this, you can't do that. Now this season it's you can't score anything but corners. I don't care. I want to win the Premiership. If you're in the title race, do you actually care how you're getting goals? If you're winning games, I really do not care how we get wins. If you're scrapping out to get a 1-0 win, but your defensive side, it's good for me. Again, look, at some point we will click because it happened, but if you look at the injuries, you look at the circumstances, it's teams play deep against us. That's just the fact of how it is. Look what happened with Burnley. Do you think Burnley came out? No, not until the second half. They played the deepest of deep blocks. They strung 5 across the back. Didn't really play. Fleming was literally just in their midfield. Mm-hmm. So what do you expect that we're going to? If you can't break down the low block in those kind of ways, you have to find other ways, and the set pieces are, because that's a weapon now. So it doesn't bother me. I don't think it bothers any Arsenal fan. If it bothers the media, that's good for them. They're welcome to that. If we can win a Premier League title doing this, I'm all for it because I only care about winning now. We've had years of playing nice football and all that. I love good football, and I want to see us play good football, but I also want to see us win a Premier League title because it's been so long, and we deserve it. And Mikel Arteta is a smart enough manager. Look at it. He's a smart enough manager to say, look, the Premier League is a tough league now. Teams are playing deep blocks up against us. So are we going to get through with good play? You're very unlikely to, because he tried that. He tried that for years, and it didn't work. And, then we got broken upon, and then they scored. So what do? You go with other weapons. So, no, I'm fine with it. Let the media talk. Let commentators try and figure it out and push their agenda. For me, I just want to watch us play, watch us win, hopefully get a Premier League title or some kind of trophy, and then enjoy it as a fan, because I really don't care. I barely pay attention to the media in terms of I take their words on, because there's very few journalists that I will actually listen to and respect. There are a few like Tom Canton, Dan George, who I talked about. They're people I know will talk sense. But the mainstream ones are very, the Gary Nevilles and Jamie Carragher's have agendas to push because they need views on them. So they will try and make it incendiary as possible to stoke debate. That's just how the media is these days.
That was so well put there. That was a beautiful line. I've just got
incendiary. I like the word incendiary.
And then to stoke, mate, wordsmith here.
Well, I try. I paid attention in my English classes and looked at my thesaurus.
I may not have.
But the thing is that we know that social media is designed to push agendas and to create conflict, discussion, whatever you want to call it. It's more now of a case of people figuring out where the real people who are discussing the actual issues will be, figuring that out. Some people listen to Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. Fair enough. That's their opinion. Me personally, I'm not sure they're my cup of tea anymore. I think I respect them as players. I think they are reasonable pundits, but I think some of their takes and then some of their take backs or just suggest that they're not really watching the game enough, and it's just kind of the headlines. Effectively, they're cherry-picking headlines.
That I don't know if it worries me or annoys me or what it does, but the thing that I keep coming back to in terms of those pundits in particular is that when, like, say, Gary Neville, for example, when he first started, there was so much more tactical analysis. There was so much more impartial view, and it was actually, let's start, like, I think he was one of the first people to actually give us that side of the game rather than, oh, well, they wanted it more than the other team. And, just that kind of surface level, that the cliches. But it seems like he's moved further and further away from that. And I don't know if it concerns me about, the future of mainstream media and what we're going to get, because me personally, I want more managers coming on to those programs and actually giving us in-depth analysis. I want to know the other side of the coin.
But remember, Alex, that's not what the mainstream want.
And that's the problem, isn't it?
Most of them want headline, something to keep them, and especially media companies will want incendiary content to promote views, clicks, watches, whatever it is, to keep people engaged. They're not going to. If you do a tactical analysis, is that going to promote more views from mainstream? No, it's unlikely to. So they will go a different way, and that's just how it is. That's the way things are now. It's not about what's the heart of the matter, what's actually true. It's what will get you the next. I will guarantee you, when Arsenal lose a game, it will be the biggest pile-on you've ever seen.
100%.
Because they're waiting on it. They're absolutely waiting on it. While they cannot do it, they'll keep it. Arsenal doing great. Look, it's such a defensive unit, etc. The moment we lose a game, or the moment a goal comes in, it'll be the pile-on of all pile-ons, because we fully expect it. That's how it is. And we will lose again. Look, I'm realistic enough to know we will lose a game this season again. We'll probably lose a few more, because the Premier League is a competitive league. But we are still in the mix, and Man City will lose games. We've seen that already. Liverpool lose games. So it's a competitive league, and it's one of the most competitive. You look at it now, you've got Bournemouth and Sunderland occupying high positions. So I don't expect, I'm not conceited enough to expect that we're going to walk the league as many people predict it. We're going to be very good, but there's a lot to play.
Question for you, Yem. Are we favourites for the league, in your opinion?
Right now, yes. But the league, as I said, is not won now. Again, I find this whole thing of being made favourites for the league right now is it's an easy one to get the pile-on going, as I said just now, because, you're favourites for the Premier League. You're 6 points ahead. Well, Liverpool were 6 points ahead of us a couple of weeks ago. Now look where they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to have for us to.
Things change so quickly in football, don't they?
football, there's so many elements within football, such, you have to have a bit of luck. You have to, injuries, you've got so many factors coming on. The Champions League is here. You've got FA Cup, midweek games, all this stuff. We've just seen our League Cup schedule. We've been rescheduled now to the 23rd, which is a bit silly because obviously that means we play a week later than everyone else. Excuse me. I'm just choking now. But, you're I hate this notion that, you're the favourites for the title. And it's designed as a vehicle for discussion.
Yep.
April, if we're still there, we're made favourites. I will say, yeah, we should be favourites because you've got 10 games to go and you should not be really losing it from here on out. But right now, look, we're at the head of the table and we look good. But in a week or so, we could have lost 2 on the bounce and that's it. So
Yeah.
I think we're favourites right now in terms of what we're doing, but I don't subscribe to it being the pure indicator that we're going to be there at the end of the season. Not yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it, that this month we've been made favourites not only of the Premiership, but of the Champions League as well. I've never known. Even when we had Bergkamp, Henry, Perez, Vieira, all these players, and I never remember us being Champions League favourites. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, we've never been made for Champions League.
I don't think we have it, but
it's based on squad depth, obviously. That we've got the best squad. Yeah. But again, you could go into the Inter match, you can go to the Bayern Munich game, we could lose those, and they'll go, oh, that changes everything. Football is such again, 1 week you're up, next week you're down.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of the game. We love the emotion. We love the emotional distress, the jeopardy, all this kind of stuff. So again, nothing is won now. Everything is won in April, May. So I'm waiting to see how we do. Keep the run going. I'm sure Mikel knows that as well. But it's about keeping players fit, and then we stay in the game. November, December is a very tough month in terms of the football being played. So yeah, we'll see come the new year how we're doing, but nothing is given yet.
But let's look at last month in review and the North Bank Monthly. So 6 games, 12 goals, 0 conceded. So Arsenal in October 2025 from Optajo were the first English top flight team in history play 6 games in a month and win them all without conceding a single goal. As they call it, philosophy.
What is that like? Sorry, philosophy. Did they just pick it? Is that like an AI thing?
I knew you were going to pick out on that as soon as I said it. That was...
Yeah, but as an English teacher, you must be going, what's this?
Yeah,
philosophy. Full stop. No, not even that.
We need one word. Anyone... Philosophy, that'll do.
Bangarang. That's my word. Come on, please. Come on up to Joe.
I know. It did make me chuckle. I just thought, I've got to say it.
You're the teacher. Explain to me how that full stop philosophy.
I think it's meant just for emphasis, isn't it? There's just a little almost like you use a headline, but we're going to use it at the end. But it hasn't really paid off. Although, to be fair, we've just talked about it for the past minute, so there we go. I mean, these games, it's been really interesting, hasn't it? Because we've been called like a defensive team at times, especially by rival fans. But looking
and managers as well. Don't forget
to play these games and have 12 goals. It's no mean feat. Out of those games, which one kind of sticks out to you? Which one's the one that you go, that was the premium performance?
It's a really hard one because you look at the Atletico Madrid game, 4-0 against the Atletico Madrid side, and you go, wow, top level European side, no mugs, 4-0 is a battering. So you'd have to say on the face of it, that the Atletico Madrid game was the one, because you have to pay respects to Atletico Madrid, top side. Diego Simeone looked absolutely destroyed, and that's very rare. I still look at the games against Fulham and Crystal Palace and go, that was good performances, because again, Were we at our best in those games? Probably not. Did we get the result we need? Yes, against teams that we struggled with last season, we dropped points against. So it's
Mhm.
kind of a mixed bag, Alex, that you look at the 4-0 and go, that was a statement win. That's probably why we were made Champions League favourites.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah, I
rest of
completely agree with that.
but the 3 results get West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace are wins that we dropped how many points? We dropped quite a few in those games, and we've won all of them. So we've net gained on ourselves.
Mm.
And that's what you want, because again, last season we didn't lose the title on the big 6 games. We lost them on these games. So it's
Yes.
imperative, if you're going to win the title, you win it against these. So for me, look, I quite enjoyed the wins against Fulham and Crystal Palace, because again, those are 3 points that were absolutely crucial for us in the title race.
Yeah, it's funny because I think it was on the last monthly review we did, and we kind of, we talked about the City game, the Liverpool game, and I said on that, this run of games for me was the litmus test. This was the game. This was like the kind of the run of games that we would see the mid-block in, that we would see teams trying to stifle us, that historically we've struggled with. And it was really nice because during this whole run, I never felt worried. It was just like each one, another day at the office. Just get the job done. It's funny. The one that sticks out for me is obviously the Atletico Madrid, because to go 4-0, I know they're not the same team as they previously were, but teams don't do that to them. Especially Simeone.
Well,
Liverpool
didn't. Liverpool got scrambled a 3-2 win eventually, but they're still a good side. They've got quality. Julian Alvarez is an outstanding player, and they've still got Llorente, Jimenez. You still have to pay respects to Atletico Madrid. They beat Real Madrid 6-2 in the Bernabeu. So was it 6-2 or was it 6-0? I can't remember. 5-2.
Check this. I think it was 5.
But they still battered Real Madrid, who are the leaders of the Primera Liga right now, of the Liga at the moment. So you have to pay respects to what they are.
5-2.
5-2. So again, a top team with good talent, and we made them look ordinary. There wasn't a point on which they were going. We went, apart from the Julian Alvarez rocket from 25 yards, you weren't going, oh well, they're threatening really well and they're creating so many chances. They didn't really, did they? We restricted them, and in 13 minutes we destroyed them. So on the headline basis, that Atletico Madrid game absolutely was a top result. But again, as I said, these other results are decisive for us, and for me personally, because I saw it last year, and the West Ham one really annoyed me, that when we lost to them at home. I just thought it was a result that didn't make any sense to me, because we battered them and we got nothing out of it. So this year, to effectively beat them sharp, no fuss, was a perfect result, because it just meant, look, we've job done. Fulham and Crystal Palace, much tougher. Crystal Palace was a very tough game, because Crystal Palace, you have to pay respects to them.
They're a great side, great manager.
Very good manager, but again, we restricted them. They had one shot on target, which was even a shot on target, and which really did irk me. So they created chances, but they weren't open chances, if we call it that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a difference in creating, open chances where where they're going to absolutely score a goal, but nothing. I haven't felt in those kind of matches that anyone's ever done that to us.
Yeah, I think the Brighton game as well. I loved that game, just simply because it really showed how much we've developed as a squad. The inclusion of so many different players, and although it was a more disjointed game, we didn't show the usual kind of partnerships and cohesion. I mean, that was always going to happen considering the changes made. But my God, just some of those players look great. Like Hincapié looked really good. Mascara was incredible. We've got Max Dowman didn't look out of place. Like I put it forward that for me, he starts at most teams in Europe. In the whole of Europe at 15 years old. Didn't look phased, and looking forward, to the Slavia game we've got tomorrow night. I don't think it'd be the right choice to put him in from the off in that game. But I guarantee he would not, be worried about it. I think he'd just take it in a stride, go into that game. He's not just like a supreme talent in terms of his on the ball work. It's his mentality as well. And it's also like off the ball. I saw more from him off the ball that game than I was aware of. I had no idea how good he can be off the ball. And, this is a child. We're talking about this as a kid. And he's able to do that against Premier League opposition, albeit in the League Cup. He was fantastic as well. So I love that game just because I saw, different facets of a game and different things, different options that we've got. And I felt much more kind of confident in, okay, what happens if this happens? What happens if, let's hope it doesn't, but we have a Gabriel injury for a couple of weeks. And what happens if we don't have Calafiori and we need someone else, like in a different mold as an overlapper rather than a Miles who's going to come inside? What happens if we need Max to come in and start a game? What happens if we lose a third striker in Gyökeres and maybe we need a 17-year-old to go up front?
No, that wouldn't happen, would it?
But it was really nice to look and kind of almost see the future of our team because, it was crazy. I saw today, Calafiori is our youngest player. And I think Jurriën Timber is 24, is he at the moment?
24, 25.
Even our more established players and the players that we feel are, our first teamers, those starting players, a lot of them are young. And then I'm still looking at the future and going, we got players like Mosquera coming in, we got Ngapié coming in, we've got Max, we've got Anus, we've got, Ethan Winery. We've got so many players coming through that I just loved that game for what it was, kind of the story it's telling, and the progress of our club. So that one stuck out to me as well, mate.
Yeah, look, the first couple of minutes were very shaky against Brighton. Let's not lie. They had 2 open chances which they should have scored. But you got to take your chances. So there's the difference. Yes, we don't like to say it, but we don't like to say shots on goal here because we don't like those. But the fact is, we rode our luck a little bit, but you need luck in these games, and then 2 minutes of quality, and that's the difference. They couldn't take their chances. We did. Facts are facts. But as you said, they grew into the game. It was it's new partnerships all over the field, but it allowed players to get minutes in their legs, which is what you need in this run, because you're going to have to rely on a Hincapié. You're going to have to rely on Mosquera, as we saw. Yep. You're going to have to rely on Ben White. You're going to have to rely on MLS. You're going to have to rely on Max Dowman at some point, even if he's 15, because the fact we can see already the injuries are mounting up, and it's the Premier League is exhausting, especially around the Christmas period. It starts to get really exhausting, and given the schedule and the schedule change that we just had, it's even more exhausting because obviously the League Cup has been rescheduled, and it looks like our Christmas schedule is going to be very packed. So this is the reality of modern day football, that you have to have large squads and players who are ready. You can't have them coming in cold. So we need these games. These games are important to make the progression, to continue to give players, time. Tomorrow's game against Slavia Prague, you've got to give them time as well. Mikel has done better this season in rotating the players, and I hope that continues because it's needed. We cannot have so many injuries, and we have got injuries, unfortunately. Some of them have been a bit unfortunate. Some have been from overplaying. I think Noni Madueke is a perfect example, and that's not Arsenal's fault. That was unfortunately playing the Club World Cup and came and had a shortened break, and then he had to play because Saka was injured. But once everyone's fit, it's it's a great feeling to know that in the next round, if everyone's fit, you could look at a team of first teamers. You could rotate the team and play a team who pretty much could get top 4 in the Premier League, couldn't you? If you play devil's advocate, you put MLS, Hincapié, Mosquera, Ben White, Norgard, Marino, Ethan Wanyeri in the midfield. Up front, you've got Dowman, Eze, and Kai Havertz. That's a top 4 side, isn't it?
Yeah, I would argue it was. Yeah.
So again, we've got the depth when everyone's fit. That's the biggest question, because I don't think we've had a fit squad yet. But after the internationals, it'll be interesting to see how we continue to rotate, because if everyone is fit, hopefully, then that keeps that competition. It also creates competition as well, because you've got players like Ethan saying, "Look, I'm knocking on the door. I've performed this well." Hincapié saying, "Look, boss, I've played. Come on." You need competition as well. You can't give players, even Saka as well. You look at Noni Madueke. When he was on form, Noni Madueke could certainly challenge Saka. That's what you want, because you want a Saka at his top of his game. You want a Havertz and Gyökeres fighting it out for the striking spot, because you want the player who's doing his best to be up front. That's what we want. We want that competition within the squad, but we want that depth as well, so that when we do need to put players in, that they're not coming in cold.
100%. I mean, looking at this, so Arsenal are running at a 95-point pace right now, which is mad. We won't go too much into that. But looking at the percent of available Premier League minutes for those players, as you're saying about, unfortunately, we just haven't had the options right now, where a lot of our decisions and attacking areas have been forced. But Jesus, 0% of the minutes available. Havertz, 4%. I mean, Saka 62, Trossard 58, 57 for Eze, and then drop them down. Madueke 38, Martinelli 27, and Odegaard 25. Like, it's crazy that right now people are talking about, oh well, Liverpool haven't got Isak, he's injured again, and they're missing this player, and no one, in terms of Arsenal. And I'm not even talking about the mainstream media or the outside noise. Within our fan base, I don't really hear anyone talking about it, because that's been a problem. We've just continued. We've had someone now step in, and it's just, resume business. Let's just continue as we do. So Odegaard's out, Eze steps in that 10 role. Continue.
I think now you're going to start hearing. I think now you'll hear it with Gyökeres out, because that's a big one. Gyökeres being out is now, there is no fit striker. You're now going to have to go back to the Mika Marino experiment, or maybe even Trossard up front. So there, I think you will, because it's an unfortunate one that's come really at the wrong time. Well, yeah, it has come at the wrong time, really. But that's where you're going to start hearing the noise, because, tomorrow's game, fine. But if it goes long term, then you're going to have to question, what's going on, because muscle injuries are never good. So, yeah, as you said, it's been great for the start of the Premier League that we've had such a great squad, and that's part of the planning. Mikel has been very clear. I don't want what happened, last year or the year before to happen again. Forces are conspiring against us. I think we just got some juju against us that's causing us problems. But yeah, look, if everyone's fit, if everyone's fit, then we've got by far and away the best depth in the Premier League. There is no question about it.
100%. And let's kind of go on to a different note, because this month, I think, has really shown another level of progression. So we've been, we've obviously talked about the clean sheets, the record for not even having, I think there was against Burnley, there was at halftime 0 XG, 0 shots on target, obviously. They're just, no penetration, no concerns. And I mean, this graph shows essentially where teams were last season in defensive quality. So, and then where they're moving. So looking at Arsenal, we were the top 10, the top team, in the Premier League defensively. I mean, it's absurd where we are right now. But this cannot be taken for granted. How good we have been so far. And looking at, we talked about in the last month's review in terms of the goals that we've conceded. One's a wonder strike from a free kick. One is essentially where Haaland has had a breakaway, and, Haaland is, even by Haaland levels, he is absurd right now. And then what was the other goal that we conceded?
The Walter header from where Gabriel really didn't stand up properly.
And I mean, to be fair to Walter, he's not the smallest of guys. He's not the the least imposing.
Gabriel should have.
Yeah, I would give you that. But I mean, it's crazy where we are right now, isn't it? Like, it's I mean, what do you put it down to? Like, if you're gonna weigh it up, if you're gonna say like, I'm gonna put it more in this camp than this camp, so I'm gonna give you 3 options. Okay, you got to kind of weigh it out. The first option is the personnel themselves. So, having now each player's got more experience. We've got Calafiori fit. So that side of it, Mikel Arteta, or final one, and throw this out, Gabriel Einze.
I think it's all 3, to be honest. And I know you just. Do you know why? Because it's a collective thing. We're defending as a unit, and you cannot underestimate that Arsenal love to defend. The perfect example is Burnley. The last 7 minutes, all the players were rushing back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. We get in shape really quickly. We are so defensively aware of our positioning, how to block off lanes and stop overloads happening. It's a real skill to have in terms of where you position yourself and ensure that you can't get the 2-on-1 overloads. It's always a case of being in control. That also helps with personnel like Ricardo Calafiori, who people say is a maverick, but also as well has defended really well.
He really has. He's proved people wrong in terms of his one-on-one defending this season. I think he's been.
I've always thought he's a quality. You don't play for Italy. Italy are literally built on their defense. So you do not play for Italy if you cannot defend. And he can defend. He is a unicorn player. I've always said he's a bit of a unicorn player. And if he can stay fit, he will be a massive asset to us. How far he can go is up to him because, we'll talk about it, but he's got everything. Yeambele Timber is an absolute freak athlete. Look, we love Ben White, but Yeambele Timber is far and clear at the moment. He is the best right back in the league. Gabriel Saliba, best pairing in the league. That's been there for 4 seasons almost. But you've also got the people in front of them. Declan Rice, Zubimendi. Zubimendi is far and away one of the best midfielders I've seen for a long time. Declan Rice is a better player because of him. And Declan Rice's game has changed because of that as well. Then you've got Bukayo Saka who tracks back. You've got Martinelli, Trossard who track back. You've got Victor Gyökeres who tracks back. All of these players make sure that they're not only their attacking duties when they need to, but their defensive duties are taken care of. And that's a rare commodity and something that it takes a long time to instill in a team to want to defend. Because also, look, you've got players. Look, if you look at Liverpool carry Mo Salah. Mo Salah does not like to defend. He wants to attack. We don't have those egos in our squad. You have Bukayo Saka, one of the world's best players, still tracking back and working as hard as ever. Victor Gyökeres, one of the strikers as well, going back and defending. It is not a case of you are allowed to do what you want. No, you are still in a team, and the team collective is what you have to, respect. And the team have respected that. The goals are obviously a nice thing. Goals, everyone wants to score goals, but defending as well has proven. The old adage always proves out. Goals win you games, defense wins you titles, and that's proven out because we may not score many goals, and especially in this next period. If Gyökeres is out for a while, one thing you can say is if we score one, you've got a hell of a task to actually get that to come back on us because that defensive unit is insane, and the will to keep defending is something that you cannot build in one day. It takes a long time to instill that kind of will to defend every ball, to go for everything, to get in position when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling, at the end of 90 minutes, you're feeling dead, but you say, look, I've got to get back in position because it's my job. Lots of factors. And I think it's collective on the staff, Mikel, the players, all wanting to ensure that we don't want to be exposed. When we do, it looks really bad on it. But we want to minimize the damage. And that's what's borne out. Look, again, as we've said, we have conceded. Look, I think people are getting very short memories. We've still conceded one to a worldie, which was an absolute unbelievable free kick. Can't deny that. The other one was a Gabriel mistake, which he was way up the field, lost his head, and you can see it, and Haaland ran through the gap. And Haaland is an absolute robot this season. I've never seen, I was watching him last night, and Bournemouth are on no mugs, but as soon as he got behind the defence, he literally was away. You couldn't stop him.
Off topic, I know this is an Arsenal podcast. For you, is he the best pure finisher we've seen in the Premier League now? Do you think he surpassed Shearer yet? Is he up there with Kane? I mean, I'd argue as well Thierry Henry, just simply from the amount of golden boots that he won. But in terms of just like pure goal scoring talent, is he number one?
It's a very hard argument not to make it against, but the league is very different as well. Again, it's different eras and different times. Thierry Henry was playing against very physical attackers who crunched into tackles and he had to ride them. Now it's a case you can't have any contact and, high lines are played, etc., etc. Bournemouth were outdone by the high line, and it was all pace. He's definitely one of the best strikers. Him and Mbappe and Kane are on different stratospheres right now, and I think he will be the top goal scorer in Europe because even if Man City, don't win the league, they will. Everything flows through Haaland. He is the focal point. They're struggling with other players getting into the act, but you don't need it when you've got Haaland scoring that many goals. I think he's the best pure finisher in the world at the moment because I think Mbappe is the best. Is a better footballer overall. But who do I want in front of goal? I want Haaland, to be honest.
Yeah.
But again, when you build your team around a player, it's very easy to do that, and everything goes through him. He's a great player, and he's got even better. But the thing is that when again, City will be good this year because of Haaland. If he gets injured, then that creates a problem for them because he's such a focal point. He's such a big target man, and teams play to set up to defend against him when they can't. I mean, Bournemouth failed tragically yesterday. But it is what it is. Again, to the point of Arsenal in this month, we can defend really well, and we'll score goals. The reason is we're defending well is also as well. Teams play very low block against it. It's hard to break, and they're waiting on the counter attack. But we set up very well to stop the counter attack. I think Zubamendi's been an absolute masterstroke in terms of how he sets up himself at the base because he can get back quick enough. I think people underestimate how good Zubamendi is in terms of
the rotations they're making as well, and the penetration for the passes, the different passes as well. He varies so many things. He's really surprising out of possession. His reading of the game, the interceptions is like...
He's a pit bull. He's a bit of a pit bull as well in the tackle. He doesn't like losing a tackle. He wants to win the duel, and he'll get better. This is his first season in the Premier League. Give him another season and he'll be in Rodri levels. I'm pretty convinced of that because you don't be Spain's... Remember, he started off as Spain's reserve Rodri, if you call it that. But now he's such a focal point that he has to be in the squad.
Yep.
He's that good. You give him the time, he will be. And he is. Declan Rice, as I said, is a better player. Declan Rice has been phenomenal this season, and the Burnley performance was unreal. But it was because of Zubamendi platforming him. Zubamendi allows him to go off and drive on those runs and not be worried about coming back straight away and busting a gut to get back. He's such a clever player, Zubamendi. It's 60 million was an absolute steal.
Yeah.
He's worth 100 million easily. And it's just bearing out. But he won't get the headlines because he's not flashy or anything like that. If you watch him, he is literally the one who runs our play. And yeah, it's just been, collectively the team has been working so well, but I think it's come from a number of different factors, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. I know it's so interesting that, you talked about the high line. We play the highest line in the league. And for us to have this defensive record this month is unbelievable. It's testament to how good this team are at controlling games, reading games, understanding, different phases of play. They're not, this is not a team that are just camped out in their box, hoping for a 1-0. This is the way Arteta is doing it. It's very, very different fundamentally from how George Graham did it. They are philosophy. If we're talking about
You're
philosophy,
doing that to annoy me. You're doing that to annoy me now.
If we're talking about philosophies, they're so different. They're done in completely different ways, and I love the fact that when people are throwing out these things, going, "Oh well, Arsenal are just super defensive and they just want to park the bus." Go and watch them. Go and watch Arsenal for 90 minutes, and you tell me, draw a line for our back four and show me where they are predominantly, especially with our false three. Show me where he's sat, because I guarantee you it's not back near his corner flag. It's amazing the amount of different, positions that players are picking up, and, the rotations that we're seeing in midfield. And then at its core, when we need them to be defending and back in,
in the shape,
they're there for a man. Every single one of them will, they will graft, they will get back, they will be where we need them. And it's unbelievable that philosophy has been it's not even like it's been drilled in from Arteta. It's kind of, it's woven in the fabric of the club now. It's become part of them. And I think you said it earlier, they seem to enjoy that side of the game.
But you have to do what we want to do. So yeah, absolutely. It's phenomenal. Hopefully continue. Look, I think we're 15 goals Chelsea conceded in that 03-04 season is a very, very tough record to beat. Again, I'm not putting any stock in anything. Again, I want to win the title, but it's a long way to go right now.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Okay, let's go into our player of the month. Okay, so I believe Arsenal have got 4 candidates. It hasn't been chosen yet.
No, not been chosen yet. Who are the 4 candidates then?
So the 4 candidates are Yeambele Timber, Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, and Gabriel. So I'll give you some context just to remind you. So it says here, Big Gabby had a superb month, helping us keep 6 successive clean sheets in October. He also scored the all-important first goal of the Atleti match, as well as providing an assist for Gyökeres that game. Then got another assist when he nodded across a goal for Leandro Trossard at Fulham. And it says his set-piece prowess played a key part in Eze's crucial strike against Crystal Palace. It run going as well. Strong contender. We've got Declan Rice. Obviously, dead ball deliveries have been amazing. He kept his composure when he netted against West Ham, his former club. So that's a big one. We got Bukayo Saka, which is kind of like an outside bet, I think, for this one. Bagged a late strike against Olympiacos. 4 days later, got a penalty against West Ham. It was his corner that led to Trossard's goal at Fulham. And then he rounded off the month by tucking home against Brighton and Hove Albion in the Carabao Cup. I think sometimes we forget how much he's had to say in this October, because he's shown in flashes, that peak Saka.
Yeah.
We just haven't, I don't think we've had it as consistent.
Yeah.
And then the final candidate, Yeambele Timber, another member of the rock-solid defence, keeping 6 straight clean sheets. Played his part attacking-wise as well. And then he won the penalty that Saka converted against West Ham. I mean, he has been unbelievable this month. He is Mr. Consistent. So for you, who are we going to go for, mate?
Now you've said it, I have to go with Gabriel, because just the amount of involvement he has, and if you list off the achievements for the month, as you as a teacher know, what achievements have you done? But you can't argue with Gabriel, can you? Really? I mean, assists, pre-assists, goals, defending. I think you have to look at Gabriel and just say that it's been his month.
I am happy with that shout, mate. I think, it's so difficult. Timber has been unbelievably consistent.
Timber's been unbelievable, consistent. But if you look at goals, moments, decisiveness,
and that's the one little thing. If If maybe Timber had a couple more assists or something, I might give it. But Gabriel at this point in time, just unplayable. He's unplayable from an attacker's point of view. He's unplayable in terms of a defender's point of view, especially at set pieces right now. He is just, he's a manager's dream. He really is. Yeah. I'm happy with that. And our final roundup, we have to do this every pod, grading it on our ABCD level. What are we grading this month? Have we got our highest possible accolade for this month? Or is there still room for growth, mate? What do you reckon?
0 goals conceded. 0 point, what was it? 6 XG against?
I think so, yeah.
You have to go with an A for this one because if you look at it, all wins, 4-0 against Atletico Madrid.
Are we giving it an A? Are we going to give it like an A star?
A star for me would be that you absolutely destroy teams, and we haven't done that. Apart from Atletico Madrid.
It has been shutouts, though. It has been a case of like,
no,
a team can't give it a shot.
No, they can't get a shot. But if you destroy them and, if you get 5-0 and you keep shutting them out, then you've got to go with an A+ because you're nigh on perfect. But there's room for improvement in terms of we can score more goals. We can certainly do that. But it's hard to argue when you've won the whole month that you haven't been very good. And very good for me, it warrants an A. I think it's an A.
I completely agree, to be fair. I just devil's advocate, throw it out there.
There will be. Look, I'm hoping that soon we will give the A+ when we score.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, especially at the final month review. That's going to be an A star. I'll tell you
when you list that Premier League or Champions League.
When I see armpits, that'll be the A star right there.
When I see armpits.
Oh, mate, I love these episodes. I genuinely do. The one drawback to them is that they're only monthly. This is one of my favourite things, going through this.
Thank you, mate. No, I really enjoy it as well. Obviously it's good when we're winning. Next month it could be completely different, but I think we'll still be in a good position. I mean, obviously we'll find out about injuries shortly and what happens, but it's a good time to be an Arsenal fan.
It really is. Mate, where can everyone find you? Where do they need to click to subscribe? Where do they hear more from you?
You're too kind. You can find me on X at Verge59 if you want to check out my tweets, but also check out my podcast with my good friend Joe. And, we have excellent guests like Alex here. We've also got Dan George, but it's Red Lines Half Spaces. Check it out on all the audio platforms. Check it out on YouTube. And then obviously every Friday night on the Latte Firm, Late Night Latte with FK and Wayne. It's always a good watch. For those who haven't watched it, please do consider having a watch.
Do apologise about the recent thumbnails, mate, on there. That's
What have you done? You've created a monster.
Faisal
thinks he has hair. Faisal thinks he has hair now. He probably looks at himself in the mirror and goes, yeah, look at that. That's lovely.
I reckon he's got, when you have a wallet and you've got an ID, I bet he's just got that one slid in that little location.
Probably, because this was me when I was younger, which it looks nothing like him when he was younger.
It's all fun and games, though.
It is.
That's one of my favourite parts of this job. It really is. If you haven't done so, everyone, make sure you click down below, hit that bell button. It is free. It costs a thing. Hit the subscribe button and hit the like button because it does help push this content out. It helps the channel, helps the algorithm. Yeambele's link is in the description as well, so make sure you do go there straight after. Click the link. Watch the latest episode with Dan George. It is an absolute belter, so make sure you do that. And we will be back next month, but before then, make sure that you catch us on Friday because the Fockles podcast will be back. Until then, football. I just talk it. Cheers now.